Rahul. Distinguished Toastmaster Satish Menon is attempting his icebreaker speech in presentation mastery. Timer, please note the time duration is 4 to 6 minutes. With the title Growing Up in 70s. Growing Up in 70s, Distinguished Toastmaster Satish Menon. Distinguished Toastmaster Satish Menon, Growing Up in 70s.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. A very good morning to everyone. As somebody who was born in the late 60s, I would fall into a category called the Generation X. And my early growing up years were in the city of Mumbai. The Mumbai at that point of time was not the Mumbai what it is today. Today it's been called the maximum city. That time also it was called the maximum city, but for different reasons. And one of the first things that you learn when you're growing up in Mumbai is multiple languages. I grew up in an apartment where we had people from every part of India, literally. So what that did to me is that I could pick up many Indian languages very easily. So much so that today I can read and speak or understand at least 5 Indian languages other than English, Hindi, and my mother tongue Malayalam. And these came so effortlessly because we grew up in that kind of a surrounding. And so there's no challenge for me to travel to any part of India today. Most of the languages spoken in any part of India, I can understand or I can speak. So that was one good thing about growing up in Mumbai. And as a kid growing up in the early 70s, we didn't have the dangerous social media with us. In fact, there was no internet in the 70s. So what do? You couldn't watch TV. TV was only Doordarshan. That was the black and white. And that instrument was also something which was only available with people who could afford a TV. Not like today when everybody in a mobile phone can see whatever you want. But on a TV, you could only afford, those who could afford could have a television. So what did we do? We only played. We played a lot of games. That is how we remained active. And we read a lot of books. Now, that's one good thing which has stayed on till now. Even Toastmasters, when people say you have to read, for us, it was almost a ritual because before going to school, we had to read the newspaper and go. Because none of us were sure who would get called during the morning assembly to come and speak on one article that we had read in the newspaper. So reading the newspaper became a habit which has stayed on till now for me. And also, that was a good way to improve my English, my reading skills. And that's something which today Toastmasters, a lot of people say you have to read, you have to improve your speaking, reading skills. That came naturally. The teachers who taught us in school, they were not very keen that we should only compete for marks. For them, the most impactful thing was that you all should get an education. And they taught us in that manner. There was never any pressure to get a cent% in any test or exam or anything. In fact, there were people I know in school who used to celebrate when they used to fail. And you pretty much would know that who would end up in the top of the class, who would end up in the middle of the class, who would end up in the bottom of the class. But when I look back at them today, almost 40 years I passed out of school, everybody is successful in their own manner. So which goes on to prove that marks do nothing for you. The person who couldn't topper is also successful in his own way. The person who was always used to fail and repeat classes is also successful in their own way. But that happened to us because we were very happy to learn. Going to school, all of us used to look forward to go to school. Because for us, going to school was something which was a day of enjoyment. And after coming from school, play was also very fixed. You go out and play cricket for 3 hours every evening after finishing your homework. And when you start and play cricket for so long, then you become kind of expert at it. And like every Mumbaikar who has gone on to represent India in Test cricket, there are a lot of us who played very well, but we didn't choose it as a career. Another thing which Bombay taught you was self-discipline. That is the only city in India where people stand in the line to board a bus. You don't see it in any other place. And there is the only city where local trains run on time. So you could set your watch based on the timetable or based on the clock at the railway station to say, yes, the train will come on time. And most of the people's lives used to revolve around the train because you have to catch the train and then go to work. And that kind of discipline kind of built in you, because then you have to wake up at a certain time, you have to get ready, you have to be at the station, you have to catch the train, you have to be in the office. And that discipline culture is what drove me to also kind of get on to my entrepreneurial journey. Discipline is one thing that the city taught you very well. You are late for a meeting, nobody's going to wait for you, they'll just move away. And that is a city where people don't respect you for your title or a badge or something. They respect you for what you are and the work that you do. If you go and tell them I'm very famous, they will say, I don't know, I don't care. You tell me what you can do for me or what have you done. That's how that city is. And that kind of a disciplined culture is what I learned as I moved along in life. Today, if I look back, a lot has changed, but it has taught me a lot of things to kind of be self sufficient, to be disciplined, and ensure that marks is not everything that you get in life. Life is much beyond the mark sheet that you get in exams. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
The distinguished Toastmaster Satish Menon, we have Toastmaster Rahul Soni with us today. So Toastmaster Rahul Soni.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster series. First of all, let me share my gratitude to the distinguished Toastmaster Satish Menon, because being a beginner in the Toastmasters club and on a learning journey, I want to be thankful to evaluate distinguished Toastmaster Satish Menon. First thing, I would like to say that, sir, brilliant speech. I can imagine a PPT kind of presentation as a pathway presentation masteries about how the Bombays could have been in the 70s. Because I was able to relate and correlate with that subject, my father keeps saying these things, my uncle keeps saying this thing, and after I saw this movie called Sanju, and that also they were focusing on the 70s time in Bombay. And I was able to correlate with whatever you said because that's a picture I was getting. That was a very interesting topic you picked up, sir. And I think it was very reminiscing for me to also being not being a part of it. It still felt I was a part of it. I think that's the magic you created in your speech. First thing is I want to ask one thing. My first good pointers I had that the body language was very good, the content was very strong, and I liked the way you stood up and you stood in front of the camera. That's a very good job. So I think that's the first thing as an online speech. It really connects more better. So that's one good thing. The content was very good. The hand movements were very good. It was very apt, and I was able to relate with so many things. As you mentioned, 5 languages. The first thing I got was Pan India Soul. Technically, multiple languages, that itself makes you more linguistic person. So that's one good thing. And as you ended with the conclusion, also marks do nothing because people who failed in back then are very good in their life. And coming from a Gen Y generation, the millennial generation, we have the goods of X, Y, as well as adaptability of modern generation as well. I feel that I'm lucky enough to be able to be a part of it. My first recommendation is, at first when you started the speech, I was seeing that you were fidgeting the hand, and then it went like this. Somehow I found that what was the reason for that? That's my first concern. This was something that can be avoided. That's my first recommendation from my very end, sir. Second is, you can add a little bit of a humor because Bombay, the city life, the fast-moving life, the way teachers teach or the way education system was back then, you can add a little bit of a humor, something funny anecdote. Because this speech particularly had a potential of a joke that can be added in between that can connect with the audience a little more better. And third, there are some pointers where I felt that if you're giving 1 point, you can look straight and give 1 point. Other point is you can turn this side, you can give another point. And over here, you can do another point, or you can put like this is the first point, this is the second point, this is the third point. I guess that can be added upon to make the speech, according to me, a step better because a crispier is always needed from the very end. With that said, sir, Dosa can be crispier if you learn to bake it properly. That's my suggestion. That's my input. But with that, I would say that that your speech is really aspiration to me, and definitely it has the potential to reach for the stars. With that, concluding, good body language, good content, good speech. Only improvement is add a humor, avoid this visiting hands, and pointers can make a speech a little more better. With this, aim for the moon, you reach the stars. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toastmasters.